Sid Dobrin here with Inventive Fishing, and I've been thinking about tackle shops. And I have to admit, I really like tackle shops. I like big type tackle shops, and I like little mom and pop on the beach tackle shops. I like the place I buy bait in the morning with their little rack of packs of hooks and jigs and peanut butter crackers. And I like our local tackle store and the expertise you get there. And I like the 3 aisles of tackle at Walmart. And I like huge Bass Pro-like tackle shops with massive inventories. I like finding new stuff at tackle shops, and I like discovering old dusty packs of stuff that's been on the racks for years. I find tackle shops to be intriguing, and I like to browse in them in the same way I like to browse in libraries or record stores. Browsing is such an important part of research and learning when you're in a library, and I find the same thing true of tackle shops. I have friends who like to look around in tackle shops, but I think when I do it, I'm engaged in a much more meticulous research endeavor than looking around or shopping suggests. This is, after all, serious business. And yes, I've many times fantasized about opening a tackle shop, but the truth is, running a tackle shop, like running any business, requires a lot more work than I have the energy for, and my guess is that they're tough businesses to succeed in. But they are business, big and small, and they do contribute a significant amount to the economy. So much so that a couple of weeks ago, NOAA released a new report entitled Marine Recreational Bait and Tackle Economic Survey, which reports on the very first national economic survey of independent retail stores that sell marine recreational bait, tackle, and fishing-related equipment. And the information in the report is really interesting and eye-opening. The study focuses on independent stores, so there's no information here from places like Bass Pro or Walmart, just the small business bait and tackle shops. The survey examines 2013 costs and earnings of the stores surveyed. NOAA contacted 3,514 stores in 23 United States coastal states, including Alaska and Hawaii, and they received 944 survey responses. That's about a 27% return rate, which, given that survey return rates generally fall under 25%, is a decent response rate from which to draw conclusions. The NOAA survey tells us some interesting things about the importance of the independent bait and tackle shops and their contributions to the economy. For example, did you know that independent retailers in coastal communities generated an estimated $854 million in total sales of marine bait, tackle, and related equipment in 2013? The estimated total economic impact from those sales? $2.3 billion in sales. That's nearly $796 million in income and more than 16,000 full and part-time jobs. Oh, and for those of you who are like me and numerically challenged, economic impacts refer to an estimated amount that's derived by looking at the change in economic activity between two scenarios. One that assumes the money tied to the situation affects the situation, and one where that part of the economy is not present. So basically, it looks not just at the sales the stores represent, but the ripple effect of those sales have on tangential things like shipping costs, transportation, and other things it takes to make those sales possible, versus if those sales weren't there at all. The study also looks at how these earnings are divided, looking specifically at the distinction between categories like fishing tackle sales, bait sales, fishing lines and net sales, boat accessories and electronics, general accessories, and fishing apparel. Now, of course, when I first saw these divisions, I made some typical assumptions like, fishing apparel will be a huge part of the economic picture here, or that boat accessories and electronics will take in most of the pie. But the survey shows that, in fact, for independent retailers, fishing tackle is the primary moneymaker, earning $370 million in 2013, compared with $153 million for bait, $89 million for lines and nets, $76 million for boat accessories and electronics, $72 million for general accessories, and $67 million for apparel. And this is why studies like this are important. They clarify with actual data the things that so many of us assumed about what the fishing tackle industry is all about. I'm glad to know that tackle outsells accessories. It suggests a thriving, more seriously committed community. And the report provides a great many more details than I'm introducing here. Now, of course, the real issue here is longevity. Since this is the first study of its kind, NOAA has no previous data on which to base comparisons or to identify industry changes. So this study will, for the time being, be the benchmark standard. Of course, the hope is that such studies can be conducted at regular intervals, say every 3 to 5 years, in order to amass longitudinal data and to get a better sense of the economic trends in bait and tackle shops. It's great that NOAA is conducting this research. The question, of course, will be, what does the data get used for? I can easily imagine why the recreational fishing industry wants to see the details of this report, not just to analyze market trends, but to confirm the strength of the industry's contribution to economic input. That's a claim that can be used to gain political support when policy issues that might affect the industry or its large community arise. So it's good to see NOAA contributing this kind of information base. I'm a big believer in data, and I think that information like that reported by NOAA in this study is important not just to industry players, but to each and every one of us who fish in salt waters recreationally. It's important to know how our dollars fit into large economic pictures. It's important to see just how important small businesses are in this community of ours. We're getting a new Bass Pro in town next year. They've already started building it. It's sort of big news around here. So I asked the owner of one of our local tackle shops what he thought of Bass Pro coming to town and if he was worried about the effect on his business. His response was much more positive than I assumed. He said it was good that they're opening here, that it was good for the industry and good for the community. He knows he can't carry the diverse stock Bass Pro will have, but he also says that independent tackle shops will always draw customers because of their ability to be community-oriented. People will stop into the local store to grab an item or two when they need them. And that, for me, that's the important part of the NOAA study. The reminder that as much as I know that I'll be in Bass Pro every single time I want to buy something or when I feel the need to browse and do a little research. So yeah, I'll be there a lot. But I also know that at 5:30 in the morning on the way to the water, I'll stop and buy bait and a pack of hooks and a few peanut butter crackers from my local shop. And now when I do so, I'll feel both a little better about how both the big chain shops and the small independent shops contribute to this amazing way of life of ours. Fish on. Can't.